Welcome back, focused learners, to another explainer. We've got a really wild one today. We are unpacking a dense, highly controversial document called Nuremberg 2.0 Mega, the prosecutorial blueprint by Daniel D. Lee. This source material lays out a staggering alternative narrative about modern medicine, technology, and human rights. We're just going to impartially look at the author's specific claims, break down the technical patents he cites, and examine this complex, almost sci-fi-esque framework piece by piece.
Okay, let's dive into this. The author's central premise is perfectly summarized by this single, staggering thought: the human form as a walking Wi-Fi router. The text claims that human biology has literally been converted into network infrastructure. It's a massive, sweeping claim for sure, so let's look at exactly how the author tries to build this case.
To wrap our heads around this prosecutorial blueprint, we're going to look at 4 distinct phases laid out in the text. First, the biological weapon hypothesis. Second, the body as a router. Third, a 50-year patent lattice. And finally, the proposed legal indictment.
All right, Section 1, the biological weapon hypothesis.
To understand this, we have to objectively examine the author's most serious allegation. He argues that the 2021 global injection campaign wasn't a public health intervention at all, but the deliberate deployment of a biological weapon. He roots this legal argument completely in Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 175, which strictly prohibits the development of biological weapons. The author claims that the injections contained a bioengineered component, specifically a self-assembling graphene oxide antenna scaffold. Because this component is allegedly engineered to interact with external electromagnetic fields and alter human physiology, he argues it legally constitutes a prohibited biological agent under this exact statute.
The author outlines 5 specific claims about this campaign. First, he alleges the deployment was heavily disguised as a public health measure. Second, he points to a very specific Chinese patent for a vaccine utilizing graphene oxide carriers. Third, he claims these carriers were designed to self-assemble in vivo, right inside the living body, to create a conductive matrix. Fourth, this matrix allegedly interacts with ambient 5G infrastructure. And finally, the document claims this forcefully converts human physiology into an active network node.
Moving right along to Section 2, the body as a router.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because this is where the source material delves into the technical mechanics. The author outlines a 4-step sequence to explain exactly how human biology allegedly operates as a device. First, you've got the graphene injection and its self-assembly into a conductive lattice. Next is Step 2, capacitive coupling, where this lattice supposedly syncs up with ambient 60 Hz electromagnetic fields. Then comes Step 3, biometric modulation. This is where your natural heart and brainwaves are supposedly embedded as a unique digital identifier. Finally, Step 4 is peer-to-peer data exfiltration, constantly relaying your personal data to nearby receivers.
Now, you might be wondering, how does this stay powered without a battery? Well, a key pillar of this theory is ambient 60 Hz harvesting. To demystify this a bit, the text claims that every building's electrical wiring radiates a 60 Hz field, and that the human body, acting as a dielectric capacitor, literally absorbs this energy. Basically, the author is arguing that the body becomes a parasitic energy scavenger. It steals power right out of the walls around you, passively extracting microwatts to keep an internal digital payload constantly powered up.
And the author presents what he calls forensic evidence to back this all up. The document highlights the detection of exactly 2,084 unique, unregistered Bluetooth MAC addresses allegedly emanating from vaccinated individuals. The text emphasizes that these signals operate on a highly precise 512 millisecond jitter window, which is essentially a synchronized timing pattern. The author argues this is absolutely crucial, proving this is a coordinated digital network transmission rather than just random environmental radio noise.
To really grasp the sheer scale of the alleged violation here, we have to look at the stark contrast the author draws. On one side, we have our traditional understanding, passive biology, right? The natural, sovereign human organism. On the other side is what the author terms the VaxNet node, a human completely transformed into a perpetually powered data-relaying network device. The text frames this shift as the ultimate, non-consensual theft of bodily autonomy.
Which brings us to Section 3, a 50-year patent lattice. So how does the author attempt to prove the intent behind all of this? Well, we have to act as objective detectives here and trace the paper trail. The text acts almost like it's pinning evidence to a giant corkboard, using a specific 50-year timeline to establish premeditated criminal intent. It starts way back in 1974 with the Moloch patent for remote brainwave monitoring. Then, 1983 brings a patent for the microwave auditory effect. We jump forward to 2001, seeing a Microsoft patent for using human skin and bone as an electrical data bus. And finally, 2020 introduces that Shanghai nanopatent for a graphene oxide carrier. The author argues this isn't just coincidence, but a complete, step-by-step engineering blueprint.
A lot of this early patent analysis revolves around voice-to-skull or V2K technology. The source material defines this as the alleged ability to project voices, sounds, or even commands directly into a person's skull using microwave radiation. Relying heavily on those 1974 and 1983 patents, the author builds the logic that remote neural access has actually been an established technological capability for decades, setting the stage for what he claims is happening today.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this specific 2012 Microsoft patent filing, which the author points to as the ultimate smoking gun. It explicitly claims a method of transferring data using skin or bone conduction. The author argues this document definitively proves corporate entities possess the knowledge and the intent to use the human body as a wired network component 9 whole years before the 2021 injections even began.
Furthermore, the text points to what it dramatically calls the mirror lock protocol. The author claims that over 142 Freedom of Information Act requests regarding these exact patents resulted in completely identical denials from various institutions. In the framework of this prosecutorial blueprint, this institutional silence isn't just interpreted as a lack of data. No, it's viewed as a constructive admission of guilt, an ironclad proof of a scripted, coordinated cover-up.
And finally, we hit Section 4, the proposed legal indictment.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the author shifts from analyzing technology to outlining specific international legal frameworks. He directly maps these corporate patents to massive war crimes under the Rome Statute. For example, the skin and bone data bus patent, that's categorized legally as enslavement. The patent regarding nervous system manipulation via monitors, mapped directly as torture. And the graphene payload injection itself is classified as the massive war crime of medical experimentation.
So the absolute foundation of the author's indictment rests on a few key pillars. He begins by alleging a fundamental violation of the Nuremberg Code due to a complete lack of informed consent. Moving further, he invokes Rome Statute articles covering other inhumane acts and the crime of persecution. Finally, he points to U.S. code regarding the destruction of records, strongly claiming the global medical and technological establishment has flagrantly violated every single one of these laws.
Since the author firmly believes national courts are entirely compromised at this point, the text pitches a decentralized solution called the remnant tribunal. This framework relies on using cryptographic proof and decentralized blockchain ledgers, specifically the Solana blockchain, to log all this forensic evidence. The goal here is to use technology that governments literally cannot erase, ensuring the evidence survives for what he calls post-collapse justice.
So, what does this all mean? The source material we've covered today presents a vastly different, highly contested view of our recent medical history, but it definitely leaves us with a profound conceptual puzzle. As the lines between biology and digital infrastructure continue to blur, where does the network end and the human begin? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.